Yes, it's still this data set that we have been using. That's the one that we are still going to use. This interview question one. So we're going to load this into Power BI and we'll see how far we can go with trying to, resolve the same questions that we had previously. And I'm doing this purposely so that we can get a hang of things very quickly. We have just tonight and maybe one more night or 1.5 more night to do this. So the faster we move, the better. Because we've been told to do a bit of a session on PowerPoint just to make sure everybody can get their presentation right in PowerPoint. Because you're going to do a presentation after onboarding is done. Okay, so I'm going to load this data into Power BI and then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, this is my Power BI desktop. I dropped a link that you can use to get yours. So let everyone install theirs as well. It's easy to download. You can use your normal email to get it. Okay, just Power BI desktop. Okay, I'll click on that to open a blank page now. And there it is opening. Okay, and we are here, just like any Microsoft product. You see, you got the open and all of that. Open is if I want to open any old Power BI report that I had done before. Okay, but I need a clean slate, so I'm going to get a clean one. And here we are. Now we've already dealt with most of the interface here and what they do. So I won't go into that. I'm not sure if I've dropped the recording yet, but we have it recorded. Okay. So we need to get that data into Power BI. And we said, like we saw in Power, how we got data into Excel, get data, is the same here. We get data, okay? And if you know which one you are, it's good to know if it's Excel or what is it. If it's an Excel workbook, you go for that, okay? But I believe my one I want to get is a text file. So I'll click on that and all the ones it will filter for me to get are all text files. Okay, and if I search on here, let me see if I can get it from here. Interview question. Okay, no, not that. Is it an Excel then? Let's scroll through and see. Okay, I'll cancel that. I think it might be an Excel workbook. Maybe that's why it's not bringing it. Yeah, it's an Excel workbook. So you see, again, it's filtered for just Excel. And I'm bringing that in. So I click on that and I open. And it will take us to this navigator where you can see all the different tables that could be presented in your data. Okay, and then you can check for which one you really want. So I click on here on this just to have a preview of it and see if it's what I want, and I click on data, and those two are the same. Okay, the only difference is one is in table format, the other is claiming that it's not. Can you see the icon between the two icons? This is a table with that blue thing on top of it. This is not in table form, okay? But you can pick anyone. I don't believe that there's one better than the other. Some people do claim that one is better than the other. What I do is I check through and see which one is going to give me it's in a better shape, you know, and both of them, they seem to be exactly the same thing, you know, so I need just one, and I'm just going to click one. I didn't check this because it's the pivot table page that we worked on, I think. Okay, so I just need this one. And down here, it says load, transform data, and cancel. I'll click load if I'm just loading my data into Power BI directly. That is with the assumption that there is no need to clean it. The data is all cleaned and fine. Data quality is 100%. No need to work on it. So that would be, you'll just click load and it takes you straight into Power BI. But if I know that there's a problem with the data that I need to sort out, and there are other transformation works that I need to do, then I must click on transform data. And if I don't want this process anymore, I just cancel it. Okay, so I'm going to click on transform data, and it brings us into the Power Query editor. Okay, now the Power Query editor is where you can liken to where the food gets prepared, in, so to say. You know, this is like a part of the house. This is like the kitchen where all the adding different ingredients together and getting the food to top notch level gets to happen. Now, when all of the transformation work is done here, you have cleaned, you have made sure everything is fine, you know, then we close and apply. And when we close and apply, it takes us back into the actual Power BI itself. Right now, before we started with this Power BI page, when I clicked on transform data, it opened a new window. If you look at where my cursor is on the Power BI logo there, we have two pages open, two windows open. One is the actual Power BI that we started with, and the other is the Power Query, where it's taking us now. Okay. Does that make sense? Can we carry on from there? Hello?
No, can you repeat that a little bit?
Okay. So I said, you know, we started with Power BI. We opened the Power BI up. Then we clicked on get data. We went for the data or Excel, because it's Excel. You know, we clicked on it, got the data in, and we said you have the option to bring the data set that you have loaded straight here. If your data set is in good order, the data quality has been done already. So there's no need to clean it or do any other extra work on it. You can just load it and come straight to do your analysis, to create your report. Okay, that can happen. But most of the time, you'll find that you would need to take your data set through Power Query. Okay, so Power Query is, you can compare Power Query to a kitchen in the house. You know, it's another part of the main house. That is where all the different aspects of cooking happen. Okay, when the food is all done in the kitchen, all the ingredients have been added together. Any uncooked food was cooked. Everything has been, you know, it's ready. It's when food is ready that you bring it into the dining, which is in the main house, isn't it? So when all of the data quality issues here have been sorted, and you have, if you need to create extra column, you've done that. If you need to remove some of the columns that are that should be redundant, they don't bring anything to the table for your report, you have done all of that. Okay, this is where Power Query is where all of that happens, like we did in Excel. Okay, when all of that is done with your paper, with your data, then we can take it into into this main Power BI and start to create our report. So Power Query is like the kitchen or the workshop where you do all the dirty work, cleaning, whatever kind of work you need to do to beautify that would end up bringing beauty and meaning to your work in the end. It's within Power Query that gets done. And I will show us a few more than we saw in Excel, I think, very quickly. Are we on point now? Is that clear, Mr. Ahmed?
Yes, very clear, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, so how about we start with renaming the table? It just says table 1. Table 1 is so generic. We need a proper name for our data set. Okay, now that we know it's an IT related table, what's the best name we can give to this table? What do you think? It's still the same table that we've worked with, you know. It's the ID. Let me take this out, view. So that I don't like seeing all of those column distributions and stuff. Let's make it simple looking for now. So the ID, summary, status, response level, you know, the same data set that we've been working on. You see, we can already see there's quite a few things happening here. Why is that? Why is that red? You know, it means there's a problem with this. It's finding something not okay. We can see some errors. So some of the names here are not allowing themselves to be loaded right. Okay. But yes, let's start with the name very quickly. What name would you suggest we give it? Let's be quick.
Let's do Kingsley.
You said?
Kingsley.
Kingsley. How is Kingsley related to IT? Okay, I've put Kingsley, but it's got to be something that gives us an insight into what the table is, don't you think?
I think we are talking about the resolution person.
No. I'm talking about we need a name for our table. We've not gotten to that side yet. We'll get there. We've not started putting names there yet. Just the name for the whole name, the name for this whole table itself. What's the best name we can give it?
Incident log? I don't know.
Incident log. Okay, that's a suggestion. Incident log. Should we say IT incident log?
Okay.
Or queries? Or complaints? You know, anything at all, as long as it gives us an idea of what this table is about. Okay. So that part is done. Now I changed the name here, but you can see that the names also, the change is reflected in the name of the table already, you know. And then in the applied steps, you see, if we come to the source of it, I click on this plug wheel, the settings icon there, and it tells me where the source, where it comes from my C drive. That's the path. That's my OneDrive documents and the name of the document itself. And it says the file was opened as an Excel workbook. Okay, so that's fine. Then we took us to navigation, where we picked the table that we picked, and you can see the table is on table 1. The highlight is on table 1. Okay, so you can go into those steps and check change what needs to be changed in case you need to go back and change stuff. You know, that can happen, that can be done. Okay, and then we have change type. Change type just tried to change the data type for some of these ones. It didn't change it for all of them though. So I'll remove this for now, just for now, you know. And we can see there's ID, there's summary, there's status. It's just confused as to what data type to assign. So can you see ABC 1, 2, 3? So it's giving them a general data type for now. Okay, so we can go in and decide to, if you want this to be number, you can, because it's ID, you can also make it text, it doesn't matter, because we are not going to be adding these numbers together anyway. The best you can do is count them. So it's okay to leave it as number if you want, or as text. That doesn't change anything. Okay, this can be text, and we can look through. When I look through here, you see it says limit of 1,000 values reached. Okay, so while we are in here, it won't show us more than 1,000 of our rows, the number of rows that you have loaded in. Okay, summary, we can leave that as text as well. One thing that is good to do with your text values is to clean. So if I right click on it, you can, under transform, you can trim it. Trimming help you to remove any trailing space. You know how when you type the name of somebody, you have an extra space at the back of the name, which it doesn't show, it's not visible to an ordinary eye, but the computer picks that as an extra character. So, and that's good. That could affect work. So it's good to trim and also to clean. You know, cleaning helps to remove any special characters that should not be relevant to your work. It also, I found, removes the extra spaces that could be between your words. You know, trimming would remove extra space that is after this, for example, expired. If after the D here, by mistake, there's an extra space added, you won't see it. So trimming helps you to take that out. Or sometimes, if you come to the first word here, extend, you know, while you're typing, if the data source is created manually, it's possible to have an extra space in front of just before the E. You know, the computer sees it, you don't. And again, that could be a problem. So when you trim, you remove spaces like that, you know, that could create problem for you along the way as you try to do your work. Okay, so it's just good practice to trim and clean as you go. You can do it for all of the columns that are text-based. Okay. So we change this to text as well. One other way that I check, just to be sure if I've got any value that's got extra space. You see how we have closed and we have resolved. If I'm having within this window that we are opening now, we've opened. If I see two closed, say I've seen closed here, another closed in this list, that would tell me that one of the closed has extra space. I should be seeing one. Does that make sense? So that's also one way to check your data quality. I mean, it's not easy for example, for this one, for this summary column, because there's quite a lot of yeah, you see. And I mean, it's good to do it. It's just, it requires you to be extra patient. You see, Wi-Fi not working, Wi-Fi not available on laptop. You could have Wi-Fi not working, maybe with a comma at the back of one, and nothing more. So these are all little issues that might need resolving. And that is if you look really very closely, paying attention to detail. Remember that one of the qualities of a data analyst is that we pay attention to details. Again, look at this. Whilst the rest of the text you have here are in proper form, that is, only the first the first letter has capital letter. Okay, look at this one. It's all capital. That is inconsistency. That's a data issue that you might want to change. Okay, so that everything is appearing the same way. I need a direct payment. It should be written this way, like the one below it. I need a end worker work list removing. Okay, that doesn't make sense to me, but yes, that's what's been written there. And I think I saw, yes, I saw something here. Look at here. This is meant to read, I have had an email from S Hills quarantined. Can you see that that is 2 I's, I. Okay, that cannot be right. Okay. And if you're not looking closely, it's so easy to miss those 2 I's when there should be only 1 I. Okay. Imagine dragging that into your report only for you to find out that that mistake is there while when you are in front of maybe a director or a CEO or somebody. Okay, so that won't be nice. That's why it's good to take time and do this part of your work without rushing. Yeah, it's really important. Okay, all this lever, Gloria, delete account, lever, immediate closure, you know. And the more you do that, the more you also get to understand your data set even better. Okay, let's move on more quickly now. Response level. I've got a lot of nulls in this response level. Okay, 3D SLA, major incidents, and the rest are null. And I've got a problem. It says data format error, invalid, blah, blah, blah. So there are some other values there that it cannot give us because it's giving us data format error. Okay. What I normally do is I go back into the source, into the data source, and check what has been entered there that makes makes it to bring us that data format error. This is response level, right? Let's look into the data itself and look at response level. So if we go into response level here, okay, you see, I see 2, 3, 4, 7. So those values are here, hashtag NA, but it doesn't want to bring them in because it doesn't want to bring 2, 3, 4, 7, okay, in the 1 day SLA. Why is it refusing to bring those in the way that they have been put here? Okay, now that needs resolving. Can you see how you are working between your data source and also your actual work? You see, sometimes you may need to go back a few steps to see if that problem was there from the beginning. Okay, it was. Okay. Okay. If we trim, let's see if that works. It's not bringing a trim option because this is a general. So let's change this to text and see how that helps us. Okay. It's still bringing that problem. Let's go into view and see what is said about this column distribution. It says 1 distinct, 0 unique. Okay, that also is not giving me much to work with. Okay, now this is where I decide, do I need this response level, this in my report? If I don't need it, there will be no reason for me to spend my time on it. But if I need it, then I need to look for a way to resolve the problem. It could be that I go into the data source and, of course, most of it is null, but for the ones that are not null, where I'm seeing 2, 3, why is my 2 and 3 and 4 not being brought in, and even all this 120 day? you know, maybe I need to come here and do the actual work of cleaning very well, or changing all this to maybe instead of using 4, change it to FOUR 3, 2, you know, all of those values. Okay, but you've got to do something to help yourself. Okay. I still can't see why. Apart the 3-day SLA, yeah. I still can't see why that is not coming in. 3-day, 1 day. I mean, if it doesn't bring these in, it should bring all these high, IP2, low, password reset, and so on. It should bring them in. But it's being stubborn at the moment. That's fine. We'll see how that gets resolved, you know, as we move on. Okay. Now, logged on. Logged on, this is date. Okay, so we change this to a date. Okay, again, you have date, time zone, time, date, time. And date, time, we give you date and time together. Well, that's just that's useless to us. We just need it as date. Okay, so I'm replacing what I had before. So and we can see the date icon there. Resolved service, we can change this to text. You can trim and clean as you go. And each step that we do is being recorded here, like we said before, and you can always go back into the previous steps to change anything that needs to be changed. Known error. Okay, so this seems to be fine. We can change that to text. Okay, it's also full of quite a few null values as well. Okay, again, to save yourself time, ask yourself if the columns you are focusing on, if they are relevant to your report. If they are not, you might end up actually removing them. Okay, now I know resolution person is part of what we need. Let's check. Business objective. Oh, yeah, we need resolution person. So this needs to be resolved. We've got a few errors, okay? And why are some names bringing errors? Why is it giving us error? So Sheyi, Ngozi, and let's see if we can see what name that is from the source. Okay, it's not, we can't really see, it's not given. Is it because I filtered out a few things? Okay. Okay, it could be all these hashtag, you see, hash NAs. Those are the ones, with the errors. I believe, you know, all these hash, the special character in them, you know, the hashtag in them. How about if we change this from source from here? So we just do a Control-H. Let's find and replace. So if we replace the hashtag NA, N/A, isn't it? And we say that it should just, what should we replace it with here? Just something that says not included or something. What should we say none for now? Replace all. So, okay, so it's replaced them to none for now at least. Okay, let's see if there's any other. Okay, so, oh, sorry, the source. Okay, it's not gonna see what I did now. The source the one I'm actually using as source is not the one I opened. Okay, so whatever I did now, we can undo it from here. It should have been done from the actual one I loaded, which is this one. The one I have opened is copy of that we worked on. So if I open this now very quickly and do that, come on now. Okay. Yes, this is the one I need. This is the one that was loaded. Okay. Resolution person. Can we find resolution person? Anyone seen it? I can't. Yeah, it's here. Okay. I actually did remove the hashtag and yeah, I unchecked it, so it's not the problem. What is the problem? Musa Yunusa. Sheyi Oguntade Musa Yunusa. Let's see what we have here. So is the Musa Yunusa account use extended? Yeah. So it's seeing Musa Yunusa in some and not in the others. Okay, you know what? Let's see if we can keep errors and see what that is about. Okay. Let's keep errors. Keep rows. Keep errors. I just want to, okay. You see again, when you're working, when you've loaded your data already, it doesn't expect the data source to be open. So I should have closed this. It's telling me that the data source, it can't access it because now I have it open here. Okay, but I'm going to close it now. Okay, is that closed? And then we do that again. Keep errors. I should have kept it from just that, not on the column I'm currently using. So I'll do that again. Yeah. Keep errors. Okay. So all of these is seeing them as errors. And there's quite a long list of them. Is it just the Musa Yunusa or there's quite more? And why? Why would this be error? Okay, you see why I needed to open why I needed to open that data source. Okay. All right, so I won't waste time on it now because there's more to show. What we'll do now is we remove errors right now. Well, I'll go look into the source and see why. But at least we can see that there's quite a lot of errors with the resolution person name. So there's need to investigate that, you know. But for now, what I'll do, I won't take the errors out. I'm just going to replace them with something. Okay. So right clicking, and I'm going to, where you have replace values, you can replace values with this, but I'm saying replace errors, and it's saying what do I want to replace the errors with? And I'll put not loaded, so I know them. Not loaded. Okay, so that it will let us move on just for now. And you can see that that is no longer angry with us. Okay. It's no longer angry with us. Okay. Then we have resolution team. So we are just gonna quickly text change type. Most of the time, Power BI will change the type automatically for you anyway. Okay. But because I removed this step because we needed to resolution time, that should be time. Okay, so that's not really good. Okay. Resolution time. So this should be time. Yeah. And this should be date. And this should be text. Okay. Text. Week number. So I mean we can use whole number if we want. Month is text. Year. We can use whole number for year. And it goes on and on and on. I mean, the first thing I should have done actually is remove every column that's not relevant to reduce our work, because I might be just changing the data type for columns that don't really bring anything of value, to us right now. But it's good exercise because close by, I think it's text. It's good exercise for us because the more of these you see, the better. The decimal number, because I can see some decimal numbers there. Text, number of users affected, whole number. Number of hours, which we are going to be using more than anything. That would be, I'll put decimal just in case we have any decimal along the way. Resolution notes will be text. Normal hours of overtime, I see that as text. Okay. And logged week. Whole number for the week as well. Okay. Okay. So we've done all of that. The next thing is we want to bring out our dimensions from this. Okay, because we are going to be creating a data model. And you can't create a data model where you have only one table. So good practice is that rather than use a flat one table to create my report, I bring out the dimensions that I need, okay, from here. Okay, I'm just going to go by the questions that we've been asked, and we just use only those dimensions. We need resolution service. We need incident category. Yeah, okay. Those are the dimensions we'll bring out, and I'll show you how to do that very quickly. So please, let's put this, you are going to be reminding me what we need. Year, incident category, resolve service, resolution person, resolution team. Those are the dimensions we'll quickly form before it's time to go. Okay. Now, if I right click on here, we're about to create more tables from our one table. Okay, and this is you starting the journey of your data, creating your own data model now. Okay, if I right click on the table, there's these two options here, to duplicate or to reference. The two of them will create another table for you of the same. But the difference is that if I run a duplicate now, you see, it has the same name, it's just put a 2 in front of that, like it's a second table. Okay, and if you check, all the apply steps is in one is the same as all the apply steps in the other one. It's just replicated exactly the same thing. Okay. Now, when you duplicate, if I make any changes to this main table, it doesn't reflect in this other table. Okay. If I come here and I decide to filter everything and just leave only the first one, okay? If that's what I want to do and I do it, if I come here, this is not affected. That's the beauty of you duplicating. Now, what that means though is that updates to this are not necessarily the same thing that will happen in this. They'll both be getting updates from the main source because they have the same source anyway. Okay, this is this same source here that they are both, feeding from. Okay, but if you need anything that happens here to be reflected in this next table that you are creating, you are going to use not the duplicate, but the reference. Okay, let me right click on the same table and do reference. Okay, now again, it's created a same name third table, because the same two tables cannot be at the same name here. That's why it's putting 2, 3 in front of each one of them like that. Okay, so this was duplicated, but this was referenced, meaning that it's seeing this table as its own source. Okay, can you see the apply step? You only have source. And if you click on the source, it says equals IT incident log, the name of the first one. Okay, what that means is that because it's seeing this as its own source, whatever you do here, whatever changes that you make here, it would reflect on its own, on that table. Okay, so if I come here as well, because that is the source of it, it also gets filtered. Do we see that difference clearly? Please respond. Do we understand that difference that I just showed? Are we still here? Knock, knock, knock. Are we?
Yes,
Am I
we are
still?
here.
We are here. Okay. Okay. Do we get?
Yeah, sorry.
Do we understand the difference I just showed? Or not? We've gone mute again. No, let's talk.
Yeah, I didn't understand it all.
What did you not understand there? Yeah.
It's
Okay.
sounding like a magic now. Because,
Which part? Which part, so that we can go there? Which part? Is it the way we brought the data in, or just these 3 tables that I'm trying to explain? Which
who
one?
brought the data in? Right from there, I'm just trying to.
Well, the way we brought the data in, we've seen that a few times now.
Yeah.
Okay. The way we brought the data in was we went into,
Online.
yeah, we went into, you have to know where your data is coming from. Is it an Excel workbook, text file, or any of these other sources? And that's what you click on. Mine was an Excel file. I clicked on it and it took me here, and I looked for the Excel file that I wanted to load, clicked on it and opened it. And it brought me into this Power Query where we are now, because I'm transforming. Okay. And it's the same data set that we have been using. We are maintaining that so that we don't start trying to understand another data set. Okay. And all I've done is I just brought in the data that we already know. We just gave each column its own data type where there was no clear data type. So, and you can see the steps here. This is where you brought it in. Okay. This is where you chose this particular table from that data. Change type is just where you change all the data types. And I showed us how to trim and clean your data in case you have extra spaces within the words that are typed in here. Okay, trim and clean are just for trimming and cleaning. Okay, trim, like you cut off a part of something that is just extra, isn't it? And then we did more changing the data type. So we looked through each of them and changed the data type. We replaced error where we found error. We replaced the error and said, because some names are not coming right, it just shows error. It won't let us continue. So we replace the errors. We say, for now, put not loaded for those names that have errors in them. Okay. And then we change the rest of the data type here. to the right. You know, where there is text, we change to text. Where there is date, we change to date. Where there is number, we change to number. Okay. And then I was just showing us how to duplicate and reference your table. This was the only table we had. Duplicate, make a copy of it is what we did. You know, I just right-clicked and then we picked duplicate. That is, I need this to be doubled for me, make a copy of it. But there's also something we call reference. And I was explaining that the difference between duplicate and reference is that the table you use to create both of them, this duplicated one does not rely on it anymore. It is on its own. So any change that I make here, and the change I was trying to make for us to see is I just filtered, and so that we have only one row. Okay. We changed the original table to just one row, just to see how that affects the two tables we made from it. The first table was a duplicate. You see, this one it doesn't get affected by whatever you do to the table that you use to create it, because you made a duplicate copy of it. It's like I make a photocopy of a paper. Okay. If I decide to scribble on the original one that I have in my hand, it doesn't affect the photocopied copy of it. If I've made a copy of a page and I now decide to write my name on the original copy, my name doesn't automatically go on the photocopied page, because there are two copies of the same thing. Okay, so they are not dependent on each other. That is the meaning of duplicates. Okay, but when I decide to use reference instead of duplicate, I'm creating another copy, but this copy is making reference to the first table. Okay, so that whatever I do here, can you see there's a ring? The reference means the new copy you are making is tied to the first one. So can you see the connection, the icon beside reference? Two rings that are connected. But for duplicate, you can see two papers, two copies of one paper. Okay, so, and I made an example of coming to our original table. I filtered every other thing out to remain only one row. And that was just for us to see how these two work. The duplicate was not affected. It remains the same, but the referenced copy also got filtered. I didn't come here to filter this. It just got the filtering from the first one, because the two of them are still communicating with each other. And again, the proof of that is you can see in our apply step. The apply step for this one, the first thing you see is saying the source of it is this first table. So it's seeing this first table as a source. Meanwhile, this one is saying although I may be created from you, I'm alone. I don't rely on you. And that is why it came with all of the steps that we had in the first one. Okay. You may need to go through the recordings we had yesterday, you know, and also thank God we recorded tonight as well, you know, and see and see how you try to, you know, put this together. Okay. But very quickly, what I was trying to show us is that I'll remove this referenced one. I'll delete the reference one. I'm just gonna make, I want to delete it. I'm just gonna quickly make a few duplicates of the first one, maybe 4 or 5 duplicates and duplicates. Okay, now this is the original table. I know we need year, okay, because our analysis says that we should show this by year. So we need it by year, by incident category, resolved service. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Did I make 5 copies? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need one more copy. I'm going to duplicate another one. So this one, we are going to create year with this one. Okay. We are going to create incident incident category with this one. So I'll change the name of that to incident category. And resolution. Okay, I missed one. Resolution team. And then resolution person, I believe. Incident resolution person. Okay, yeah, I think there's one more. Resolved service. Okay, so we create resolved service from the last one. Resolved service. Okay, so we duplicated all these tables because we want to have our own year table, have our resolution team table, incident category table, resolution person table, resolved person table. Okay, and how we do that is we go into year. We are using this, isn't it? Do we have, how did we create year? Okay, we are going to need to create year from this date, okay? And we can decide, this is all, we can decide to just go into add column. The last 4 characters of this, I mean, you have to look at your data and see what works. I know that 2022, 2023, they are all the same number of characters. I can decide to extract last 4 characters of this table and make year with it. Okay, so last 4 characters, and I'll put 4. Okay, can you see 2022? If I look through, they should also have 2023. Indulge me 2 minutes more. Okay, we have those 2 years that we need. Okay, I will make them whole number, and I'll just rename this as year. Okay, so that's year. Now the only column I need here is just the year. So I will remove every other column out of it because I don't need the rest. I'll also remove duplicates because I don't need them repeated. Okay, so I'm removing all the repeatedness of them. I only need 2022, 2023. Okay, the same goes for resolution team. Okay, I'll look into resolution team, I'll remove every other table, remove other tables, and I'll remove duplicates from it. I don't want it repeated. If there's any null values there, I'll take it out. The same goes for incident category. Okay, I'll just need only the incident category. Only the incident category. So we remove every other column and we remove duplicates from there. Remove duplicates. Okay, and we can see this is what we are left with. Okay, so when the values are not repeated, this is all there is in this incident category. When the values are not repeated, this is all we have here. When the values are not repeated, this is what we have here. when the values are not repeated for resolution person, okay, we do the same thing for resolution person. We remove every other column and we remove duplicates where we have names that are duplicated. Okay, I missed the data type for this one. It should be text, and we'll change it in the original data as well. Come on now. We're almost done for today. If we can finish this bit, then we are good to go tomorrow. So we've done resolution team, incident category, resolution person, we've done it. And just the resolved service, okay? And we can come here and go into the resolved service. Okay, there it is. We remove other, we replace, we remove duplicates for it as well. I'll take those null values out. Null is not gonna work. Okay, and we have that. Okay, now what that means is that we are about to create our own data model. We have the fact table where all of these are recorded. This is the fact table. Everything is recorded, and most of these dimensions that we have here, they are repeated here. Okay, they are repeated here. But when we get to the dimension tables, they are not repeated. Our values are 1. Resolution team, not repeated. Incident category, not repeated. Resolution person, not repeated. Resolved service, also not repeated. So that when we go into home, we close and apply. Now we are bringing everything that was in Power Query. We are bringing it into Power BI. You see, it's telling us that it is loading. We load it in and we see what happens. Just the 3 minutes more and I will let us go and rest. Apologize for encroaching on our time like that. But we are about to be done for today, at least. Come on now. There's quite a number of, okay. Yeah, it's telling us that IT incident, we've got some errors in the main table. You see, there are some errors in the main table. It says 53,000 rows loaded, 2,285 are with errors. Okay, you may want to view the errors in the query, but I won't go into that. We don't have much time, but I'll close that for now. And at this point, you see, it says we have Untitled Power BI. It's good to save your work properly with the name that you want to save it with. And the essence of creating those tables, bringing them out, is just for us to have our own data model, simple, very simple data model, okay? So these, then we have the year, okay? So where we don't have them joining, let me do it like this. Now, normally automatically when you load your table, it should, you see, when I click on this, and we scroll down a little, let us see what has happened. Okay, now this has joined to resolution person. Can you see? Resolution person. And can you see, he says 1 to many. 1, this is the one side of the table, because we remove all the duplicates on here, and it's repeated here. So 1 to many. We need to create a year. Yeah, we need to create a year table on here as well, so that this can join to this. We didn't create a year table for here. Okay, so that was an oversight. Then we don't have time as well. Then resolution service, we can join that in and see what happens. It says, so it says many to many. okay, that should we make this relationship active? What that is telling me is that I still have some duplicates in resolved service. I don't want it to be many to many. I want it to be one to many like the rest. Okay, then I will need to go back and check why this still has duplicates, despite the fact that I've removed duplicates. Okay, not tonight though. All I'll do now is save this as, okay, I'll save it as maybe browse somewhere and save it in my maybe documents, and we can just save it as onboarding interview, onboarding 03/2025 post Power BI. I think it's safe to save it like this. Okay, and I can save that. Okay, because if my computer goes off, all the hard work is gone with it. Okay, so at least I know that what we've done today has been saved, and we can go back in tomorrow and do more resolutions before we answer these questions very quickly on it. And I know it seems like I've taken you on